Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton. I'm Will Melton, your host, and this is a Channel RVA production. If you're not familiar with Channel RVA, you're going to hear all about it today because we are working on that product. So strap in. We're going to have some fun, build some games. We're going to build some gamification into the Channel RVA application. And I'm going to show you how we can create multiple layers at one time to be able to empower the tool, the application, the website that I'm building to make the content on that site better, to make it more social for people in the Richmond community, to give people more ways to connect with their city, to give people fun ways to compete and to um, do all the things that might be fun in a town. So that's what we're doing today. And thanks for joining me. If you're here with me and you are curious, feel free to leave a comment, ask any questions that you have. I'd love a lively discussion on these. I know it's a beautiful day outside if you are in Richmond, Virginia today. So you might not be watching me live, and that's quite all right. I like it when people watch my sessions after the fact as well. I'm always here to teach you something if I can. So today we aim to do just that. If you are new to the program and have not subscribed to Channel RVA or to my studio website, I will show you here what's going on with my screen. It's not my screen. All right, well, that's a fun problem to have. Where is my, I'm really confused. All right, let's get over to something else here. I'm going to figure out what's going on with this. Let's see if I can't find out what is. Let's see. All right, let's try to add a new screen capture and see if I can't get the right display. Press my key. See if this gets myself working. All right, now I'm going to change out this guy. And scale that one more time. You guys will see the end. much of that view as I can. Okay, and let's see, let's move my video capture device over the top. All right, well, you guys should be able to see my screen just fine now, and dive in. Thanks for your patience. It happens. All right, so let's see, get back into it. This is channelrva.com. So what I wanted to tell you about today is that we have something new going on here where we are working to raise money for Browns Island. So if you're in the Richmond market, if you haven't yet subscribed to Channel RVA, go and subscribe to Channel RVA because it's worth $1 at Browns Island. And if you are a subscriber of Channel RVA, please encourage other people to take this step. We're going to run this through August 31st, and it's just a drop in the bucket for what they need to get that project finished up. I mean, they're going to finish it on time, but they do need to raise the money, so otherwise it's a giant hole in the budget. So. And let's see. I think maybe my audio device was too loud for you guys a minute ago as well, so I apologize if that was the case. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into it today. I've actually been working over on Claude, and I have a work plan for what we're going to be doing. So let me get into this here. I already have the work plan, and so I'm going to go ahead and download that. And I'm going to just go right into Lovable and put that work plan in. So I'm already over here working on all right, so I've been doing a little bit of work over here to talk about this Browns Island subscriber challenge, and so I'm working. One of the things that I have inside of Channel RVA is a place where I have these social graphics that I can produce pretty quickly, some pre-programmed graphics, and then also show graphics and mission graphics, and then I can grab an article social graphic and download it from there. Just take a look at what color I want to use for this. Purple sounds fun. We'll post that later, but I just wanted to get it downloaded since I'm looking at this screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the work plan. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about is what motivated this and how it's all going to work. So we already have some interactive features in this site. So one of the things that you'll see in community, if this is the admin dashboard for my site, by the way, I have all the interactive features here. So I have active polls that run on different media that we have. And then somewhere else I have another element of interactivity, which is related to the game show that we built, but I don't actually know that that's functional, so I'll have to take a look and see. We'll be able to do that after we record that show because the voting for that is asynchronous, but we're going to wire it all together. And so I'm going to talk to this agent really quickly and give it a direction, and we'll see what we get out of it. So again, I've put a lot in here, but I'm just going to give this a little bit of instruction. So we are aiming to introduce a gamification layer to Channel RVA that encourages subscriptions, engagement, submissions, and participation in refining all the things that we have on this platform. So we want to give people points and rewards for engaging in their community, and we want to allow communities to compete with one another so that they can develop a leaderboard and they can recruit people to play the games. And it's really about having fun and really trying to create space, both virtual and in person, and connect it all back into this platform. We already have a number of things that are going to work well here. We already have trivia into the interactive campaigns, and so we have some of the stuff built already, but I want to wire it all together. We already have user functionality. We already have a place to put RVA games or Channel RVA Games inside my RVA where people can access it. But before we do anything, I want to make sure that we're considering what we've already built and making sure that we update the details of these plans appropriately before we put them on the product roadmap so that we can execute this pretty quickly. So there's a multi-point plan to work on this, and I'm going to take you into it here so that you can see the way that this is supposed to work. Wow, that's waiting on what it needs to do over there. So we have, we're going to call it the Cred Economy. So RVA Cred is what you earn. And you earn cred in a number of different ways. There's going to be a daily trivia question. There's going to be submissions to our mural program and all kinds of other things. So we're going to have a game. If you read the description for today's event, we're going to have a game called Right Restaurant, Wrong Details. That's going to help us to make sure that the details about the restaurants in the different neighborhoods here in Richmond in our directory are accurate. And I know that some of that information is not accurate. So we're going to be able to leverage crowdsourcing to be able to get our data a little bit better. We're going to have leaderboards, we're going to have badges, we're going to have trivia questions of challenge events, we're going to have sponsors and user-generated content submissions and a lot of things. So a lot has already been worked in, and what we need to do is just, again, make sure that all this stuff is wired in with the current architecture of the platform. All right, I've got a lot cooking over here from last week that I didn't get into my website, so I was just working on that. There's a number of things in the work plan that we should have already something in place for, so we don't want to recreate the wheel. That's the big thing that we're trying to do here. Get that open in a couple of places, so close that out. Let's see, a lot of stuff going on over here. I'm gonna close a lot of these things out. Get this narrowed down. I'm gonna start a new tab here just to take all my distractions away. So doing inventory of the code base, there's a pretty sizable code base for this website. There's a lot of features that are built into this, from editor features to standard features that I build into all my products. A lot of different content types. There are community aspects to this. There is an advertising platform. There's a whole lot of analytics, the game show, and then I have a bunch of settings as well. So it is extensive, but it looks like we're getting close. While we're waiting on that, I'll take you over to studio.willmelton.com so we can take a look at my progress on app building. I have 32 documented here. I've got one that we started working on. This is interesting. Let me actually go fix that. when I hover over apps, there's an aggressive flicker that happens on the screen. Okay. So anyhow, I have another app that we started working on last weekend that I didn't add in here yet because it's not quite at a place to say that it's ready for this space. At least in my mind, I tend to like to have things a little bit further along. Um, but let me just take a look and see. I've got a couple of the thing that happens through the course of my work is I build a lot of things that will never make it onto my website because they're more client facing. So did a couple of scaffolds for some prospective clients over the week. So those were a couple of new ones that we put in there. Everything else is all stuff that we've gotten added already. So Orbit's going to be the one that I want to add today so that we can get up to 33 apps. And I'm going to count RVA Games as a 34th app because it has a lot of, you saw the build plan at 17 pages long, so it's pretty extensive and wires into, I mean, I could have built it as a separate application. And eventually we might license the technology to some other media companies that could use something similar. But for now, we're just making it work for us and getting to testing as fast as we can. Okay, so let's take a look at the roadmap. Everything's in review. I don't have the ability to add people. I can't open people. Another thing is the documentation that is in this site is the documentation that came with the product roadmap, and that's not proper. We actually want to scrap that. And we need to build our own documentation that outlines how this site is supposed to work. There's some things that we missed. I do not see any place a applicant submission form that we can embed on our website. There should be, we need to add to the roadmap to build documentation for all the functionalities on this site. I want it to be really easy for managers and employees to use alike. So we need to think about the user interface and how we can improve on that to make it a little bit more straightforward. So this is, in case you weren't with me on Sunday last week, this is an application that helps me to manage internships and new hires. And it will become our evaluation system. So it's called Orbit because, let me get the Exponent 21 logo. Computer's been slow. So I don't know why it's not finding that. I know it's in there. Anyway, this is part of a bigger suite of applications that we're building, and this will be part of, it's essentially replacing Asana to some degree. All right, let's see what happened over here. We should have open questions before we commit. All right, so let's see what we have.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
Maybe we can call it street cred and not just cred. It's fine to keep it as a literal number. I don't know why we would hide it.
Ein eigener Channel für die größten Stars der Welt. Ein eigener Channel für die besten Fans der Welt.
So that's exciting.
Mit Taylor Swift,
Hello,
Harry Styles,
I'm Harry.
Olivia Rodrigo, Tate McRae, Billie Eilish und vielen mehr. Schalt jetzt zu I Love Big
You
and
should
Loud.
migrate trivia points to the unified ledger.
I love chill hop.
Reuse the existing restaurant registry. Game show participation should award cred to only logged in folks. I think neighborhoods should be exclusive membership. I want you to go ahead and put everything into the product roadmap, given the information I've given you and any adjustments you need to make. So you might notice that I am not reading everything that's up on the screen, and that is because I am comfortable not reading all of it. Sometimes I'll scan the headlines of these sections to know what it is, but I was pretty involved in the development of the plan before this session started, so I just got a little bit of a jump start on the actual design of the system. And how I did that, I kind of was starting with, well, what's something I might be able to build that could be entertainment based, that could go viral, that could have some kind of monetization, that could be a real business. And I was talking to Claude, and Claude gave me a few ideas that I thought were pretty cool. The turf wars is the one kind of key idea that caused me to think, well, maybe this would be a good thing to bring over to Channel RVA, because we have this need to activate people and to get folks involved, and so that's what that's about. That's what we're trying to make happen. So the way that it went to begin with, it was, oh hey, we're gonna do this game thing, and it'll be on the side, and then it said, okay, well, we're going to build it into Channel RVA. How can we leverage it to get Channel RVA to be a more successful media outlet? So there's a lot of things that we need to make that happen. We don't have a big news staff. We don't have a news staff at all. We've got some people at Exponent 21 who are doing a little bit of coverage of some things and inviting people into the podcast studio. But we have to get more people involved. And one of the biggest problems I have is I know that my restaurant data is not accurate. So all right, so it asked me some questions. Let's see. Okay, so we'll get that going. We'll keep it moving, and we'll just take a look at where we're at here, letting it add this stuff to the product roadmap, and then we'll start to push. I was getting low on credits. I would have run out of credits today, so I had to buy some more lovable credits to get us going. If you are somebody who's interested in building, want to start for free, you can do that at studio.willmelton.com. You can get 10 free credits using my referral link, and it's a good way to get your feet wet and see what you can make for yourself. Also, when you're over at studio.willmelton.com, put your name and email address in the subscribe box, and you will get a referral link for sending people our way if they are interested in purchasing any of these applications or potentially investing in these applications, we have a finder's fee and referral fee for that. A lot of ways that you can get involved in the things that I'm building. I don't close anything off. I'm not selfish. I'm also very ADD, so I work on a lot of different things, and I need help to work on a lot of different things. So it helps to have a team, but my ambition's always bigger than my resources. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and get into the roadmap, and we're going to start populating our sprint queue. I have told you in the past that when adding things to the product roadmap, it needs to be added to plan because there's always an extra step that I need to take to get it added to the sprint queue. Backlog doesn't populate the sprint queue. Change all these tasks into planned. It's a common problem. I should remember that whenever I prompt this in the future, but I don't remember to do it until it bites me in the butt. All right, so this is going to be a fairly extensive build, but I think we're going to have a few things to show for it here in about 10 minutes. We'll start to see what the layer looks like from an admin perspective, and then we'll take a look at what the user can see and see their points accumulation. There's a lot of stuff I haven't figured out yet. And imagine that some of it's in the plan, like what do the badges look like? That's one of the questions that I've got. But a lot of times for me, it's a little bit easier to see it first and then refine what we got. So that's how I can move a little bit faster. And one thing that I've told folks in the past, and you might have heard me say this, but I'll say it again. I'm a bigger fan of executing most of the code first, all the functionality, because that is really the fundamental foundation. You need that in place in order for anything else to work. The user interface is always going to come last. The user interface is the thing that needs to be the best, but the functionality needs to work to support that. So I highly recommend that when you're building some new functionality, let the full functionality build happen before you start evaluating the work, before you start giving feedback. Because if you are giving feedback about how something's not working or not looking right before it's finished, it may just be premature to be giving that feedback. Or it may be that instead of allowing the agent to stay focused on the work that you've asked it to do, you start to give it side quests, which are these mini projects that you have to get done as you give it these one-off pieces of feedback. So it slows you down. It distracts the agent from the core mission that's been set out to achieve. And so it is, it's, again, just in my eyes, it's much better to just let these sprints go. And when you're done, you can come back and do your QC before you publish anything, make sure everything works. And we have to test across a number of different areas of the site to make sure that things work as expected. This particular layer is probably not going to create too much of a hassle for us, aside from just the elements related to it, but we have some existing features that we are rolling up into this, and I'm probably going to have to make some adjustments to the admin view so that we can have links to everything that we want to see. Yeah, there'll be some work to do on it, but it's not going to be, I don't believe it'll be too big of a lift. Check on some of our other applications over here. Got roadmap loaded up. So we will execute that sprint and paste it. And if you are just tuning in, today I'm working on building a gamification layer into Channel RVA. You are tuned in to Channel RVA. And if you are interested in finding out what is happening in Richmond That's what this is all about. So it's news, it is events, it is original media from creators across the creator ecosystem here in Richmond. It is local authors and events. It's some original content that we've produced, and then more media, more original content. So lots and lots here to dive into. It's all Richmond. Everything's Richmond. And then you can see my RVA is in here, so you can have your own personalized area where you can customize. You can save events. You can build tours. You can save content. All the things that are Richmond are here for you. And yeah, subscribe over there and help us to raise some money for Browns Island. So we're going to be working on that project. Where's that at? Might not be up here, but we're going to raise $5,000 for them somewhere in here. But I have to publish the changes is probably why I'm not finding it. So once I publish these changes on the front end, we'll start to see some of the changes that I made earlier today to support that. My studio website looks like that got fixed up. I'll go ahead and publish that and update it and come back over to Orbit and see where we're at. Looks like we're still working on a sprint there. I'll be taking our live session today until about 2 o'clock, so 25 more minutes. As I said, I should be about 5 minutes out from being able to see some of these features here. We're going to keep moving. My sprint queue, this execute sprint, should have instructions that says, do not stop between items. But it has forgotten that instruction already. So context windows are not as long as these sprint queues are sometimes, and that's why that happens, but it's okay. I don't mind babysitting these things and pushing them down the stream when needed. All right. The cool part about this is you get some downtime, so you can do whatever you want. You can scroll through the internet. You can build something else. You can write some content. I actually have some content to publish, so might as well go get that and get it loaded up. We'll let that get published in between. articles, and I'm going to go over to Envato and just get a couple of assets that we can use. I'll get some images, photos. This image is going to be too large to publish, so I am going to give a quick edit to this guy, bring it down to size. And then I was working on something earlier today. I was working on the game show podcast, and I noticed that some of my controls aren't working. So I think it's air horn. Get that guy. And then I have TikTok countdown. And we've got wrong buzzer. All right, I think I got the one that I want there. What else did I have? And victory. And we'll get that one. All right.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
Here are the remaining audio files for the air horn, the tick-tock, the wrong, and the victory buttons on the sound effects board in the production console for AI Game Show. Please attach them. They are labeled properly. All right.
Spring Break, baby. Check unsere neue Super Sunny Playlist von I Love the Sun.
Ready for the summer.
I love the sun. Alle worldwide Sommerhits und Summer Throwbacks. Latin Pop, R&B, Afrobeats und Amapiano. An I Love Music Channel Tip. I Love the Sun.
I love chill hop.
The execute sprint button should not bring a pop-up open. It should just copy the prompt to the clipboard. It's just an extra step that I don't need. All right, so got my sound effects. I got my graphic over there for that. Looks like my sprint queue here is empty. Let me take a look at my documentation. Looks like that's good. I know we worked on the documentation, but it seems to me like we could do more with quick actions or the dashboard with some more just visual improvements. Maybe we could do an in-app guide. All right, so this is going to take a little bit more work on making this something I can put into my studio website because there's not really anything to see. Maybe what we can do is let's talk to this for a minute. I need to be able to have access to everything that this application does. So if there's an application form that we can embed in another website, I need a page that I can go to in the app sidebar to be able to do that. And I also need to be able to have the embed code displayed on the page that I can just copy and paste into the website. It'd be great if we had a front-facing roles page that we can also embed. All right, so we'll queue up a couple of prompts over there. Let's see what we've got. In review. Do we have? Okay, cool. Let's see if this has been wired up yet. It doesn't look like it has. I want to be sure that we have proper accessibility to everything related to games and gamification in its own section in the admin sidebar. Right now, I can't show you anything because we don't have anything to click on yet. So we'll get that going. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thanks for joining me today. We're building some gamification layers into Channel RVA to help me inspire user-generated content, to help me clean up the content that we have. If there's a restaurant that's not working, it's not got the right information on it, we want to correct those things. We're inviting people to earn points and play games with us, to be connected to the community, to different neighborhoods, to play in competition across neighborhoods, to encourage folks to subscribe to the platform and read all the different things that we're connecting people to, all the different interactive tools that we are rolling out to the world. So that is the story today. And we had a preemptive prompt that I built this morning as I was thinking about what I was going to build today. So that was kind of my process. So Claude first, some dialogue exchange there, just trying to figure out how to narrow down what I wanted to build. Do I want to build something that I was going to monetize? Was I going to build something that I wanted to create as a separate application? Or could I maybe leverage this idea to gamify, to create games that are fun, that people actually want to play? Can I incorporate that into Channel RVA? And also get it to be a productive use of credits. You know, we're building it, we want it to work. I found Channel RVA to be one of the more productive builds that I have engaged with because it does have a real community around it. And that community is growing by the day. We're seeing pretty heavy growth in our subscriber count, and our velocity there is great. So always doing more to make this soon to be business more successful. And I say soon to be because it does not generate revenue yet, and it is not its own entity. It is just a brand of, it's controlled by Exponent 21, but it's not its own thing. Eventually, once we start to see that revenue flow in, we'll separate it off and make it its own asset. Or it's possible that I'll be starting a holding company next year that I can put this and some other things under as a means to capitalize all of this. I'm going to go over to YouTube while I'm waiting on that to go. I'm going to get the transcript from America's Healthiest City.
Such a joy.
And excuse me, I'm going to get the transcript from this, and
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
All right, so I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to we'll get some trivia questions from the episode. Okay. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I still have the transcript copied to the clipboard. So I'm going to actually do this really quickly. Paste the transcript, and I'm going to say this. Here's a transcript. All right, so we have that. Get that working here. I want to add an image picker on the articles where the stock images can be selected. I think we should go ahead and just do a media library, and we can also maybe have a couple of sidebar filters that are going to be like stock images that we've downloaded for other articles, or um, images that are part of our stock library, or the ability to upload inside of that, kind of like WordPress media library does when you go to attach images. Let's add that to the product roadmap before we execute on it. One of the problems that I have is whenever one of the things that happens every day is I have on my editor's desk, I have incoming submissions. I have now auto picks. So this synchronizes with, it downloads all the news for the morning at 5:30 or 5:25, I want to say, and then at 5:30, it automatically picks articles based on some criteria that I've defined, and it gives it a score. And I can choose to push that up into the story queue where I'm ultimately going to be either writing it or killing it. But Once that happens, then I'm able to then come in here and flag which articles are going to go in the newsletter. And so the auto picker is new, and one of the things that it does is it selects a stock image, and I often don't like the images that it selects. So I've worked earlier to get some local stock images loaded into the site, things that my media director has produced, so that we have a little bit there to work with. But I'm going to go to the roadmap and execute this last sprint. We'll get a couple of images updated on this site, but I should have my game stuff somewhere in here. Let's see. Games and gamification. I should be able to see representations of badges. The AI Game Show podcast is rather different from the games and gamification, so I want to move those things out into their own section in the app sidebar.
It's 2 o'clock.
And we'll let that populate up there as a queued up task. But what we're going to do, let's see, badges, referrals, interactive campaigns, daily trivia, turf wars. What are we doing? I'm going to go back to my build plan. I forgot I downloaded it already. Is there anything from this work plan that we did not get to or that didn't make its way onto the product roadmap? Also, I'm not seeing any link to the game information, like the results, the leaderboard. Where's the game right restaurant wrong information? I feel like either we haven't wired it to the app sidebar or we haven't really fully thought about how it's going to be integrated into the system. And now that I can see the badges, I don't know why you have code there. I shouldn't need to see any code. But also, why are the badges all the same? And why can't I see the title of the badge in this view? Something's wrong. And we need to populate this with a lot more badges. You get a badge if you submit a mural image. You get a badge if you submit feedback. You get a badge if you play each game one time. We need to really be thoughtful about the badging system in addition to the points. Also, how do we define where points are accumulated? What are the rules for points? How is that visible to me? There should be a settings section someplace in here so that I can have the visibility. And then I don't know that we did anything to build any of this stuff into the front end of the website. So is there any link to Channel RVA Games inside of my RVA? Is there a user interface where people can see the games, where they can see what their opportunities to engage are for that day? It should have a cool vibe. I think there's just a good bit more that we need to add to the product roadmap given how far we've come. So the way that the trivia works, I'll take you over to the homepage and we'll get into the episode. So the way that this works is we have, I'll mute this, but we have these trivia questions that come up in the episode. And we can say, see the little trivia questions come up in the episode, or I can click on them and it will just take me to the place. I did this interview. I should know the answer to these questions. Okay, cool. That's that. It's hard to see the words America's Healthiest City when we're looking at this in dark mode. Can we make it yellow in dark mode? We're going to have to populate. There's so much trivia opportunities. Oh man, I love it when you see it come together. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so we have our leaderboard. Let me go over to Canva and get the font that I was using for this. Indam. For the Channel RVA Games section, so the leaderboard and the RVA Games like homepage, it needs to kind of follow along with some of the rules that we've created for things like the shows where they have sort of a branded area that looks unique. Or, for instance, when you're looking at my RVA, it has a slightly different vibe to it. So I want to do the same thing, but what I want to do is I want to leverage a font that we use called Indam, Innndam. And I'll give you an example of the way that it looks inside of my graphic for today's live vibe coding session. But ultimately, I want to use that font to set the tone for the vibes on this section of the site. And then I want to display badges on the main MyRVA or the Channel RVA Games section. Also, when I'm looking at MyRVA, let's go ahead and roll the street cred and badges up into the upper part of MyRVA. With another link to games, or clicking on that just takes you into games. I always say I'm going to ride up until 2 and then go outside and play, but this is fun. This is my kind of play. All right. Let me just take a look at our roadmap again, see where we're at, because we should have just added some things to the roadmap. Probably all got added as backlog. Yep, sure enough. I did it again. Please make sure that the items that we add to the roadmap in the future ever again get added as planned. And the items that we just added to the roadmap, please update them so that they are planned. I cannot execute the sprint queue if they're in backlog. I accidentally closed the Get Started guide, and now I can't open it back up again. There's no place to click on it. Okay. Um, I want to elevate the. I want. I want to. Hello, hello. I want to update the badge designs to be a little bit more badge-like, maybe. Um, just a bit more visually interesting than a simple icon inside of a circle. Should evoke some kind of feeling of power, success. So you guys can see that it's starting to come together. Let's see if this works. All of the links on the public facing Channel RVA Games are 404ing. All of the links on Channel RVA Games for the user are resulting in a 404. All right, so if you're just tuning in, I am building a gamification layer inside of Channel RVA to encourage subscription, to get people engaged, to improve the quality of our content, to increase the volume of content that we have, to connect people who are subscribers um, to this world. And we'll see how this recording goes because I'm sitting here looking at my screen and it looks like it might have frozen. I don't know if I've got some performance issues, so I apologize if that is happening to you guys over there. Well, I might be calling it a day here if I'm looking at my screen and it's frozen. Something going on with OBS. I need to reset my software here. So you're not seeing what I'm seeing, and I don't know why I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to pick back up tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you want to see me finish this build up, might have a good bit of progress made, and want to make sure that we can show you the finished product. So hang out with me tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we'll join you again. So thanks so much for joining me on Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton, Channel RVA production. Go subscribe at channelrva.com. Get access to our exclusive events here in the Richmond market, and learn more about RVA Games, which Channel RVA Games, which are going to be coming to you here shortly. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.